Hello, my friends. I'm here with Dr. Robert Morse in beautiful Florida again.
Ooh.
Always a pleasure. And today we're going to talk about health, of course, like we always do, but I want to make a little different angle presented to you. I know that you're very interested in not only health on the physical level, but also on the more spiritual level, emotional level. And who better to talk about these things than Dr. Robert Morse? We are all a little curious about you. We know that you're all about health and detoxification and the lymphatic system, which you are the pioneer of the world, being the one taking this understanding out there, helping thousands and thousands of people get their health back.
So being down here is very difficult. It's a chemical world. Most of God's worlds are not chemical worlds. This one is. And so it's a mundane world. And so some of us are sent here to do these things. So but we had to go through a lot of cycles.
So what happened? Did anything particular happen to you? Did you have like a memory of something that triggered you to remember who you were? Or did you know your whole life that you were...
No, you know what? Growing up, I always was attracted to the alone state, to the darkness of or the unknown.
Like many others.
Like many others.
Yes.
You're attracted to the unknown, but you have this inner compelling of the alone state, that which is alone. You can't identify it, but there's something that makes you different than others, but not different than others. And it's that aloneness, that alone state. It's not loneliness. It's that alone exists.
But for the people that don't know much about spirituality or haven't had all these experiences, they might start by feeling lonely or, you know, and often we have to go through something very traumatic to shift or to start on that journey.
Creation is cause and effect.
So now you were talking back to karma, you were talking about past lives, you're talking about
that whole journey that you're on, not only on this planet. You know, this is just one little soap opera in a corner over here.
Do you think we're living at different realities at the same time?
You have an astral body at the same time. You have 3 mental bodies. So you've got several bodies that you interface with creation. And a good example here. Here's physical body. It doesn't think. Your human body can't think.
No.
Your mind, your brain can't think, but your mind can, and the mind is a non-physical entity. So you have these relationships to your more etheric self in the physical body, kind of like the chakras. Right? We have chakras related to the etheric bodies, right? Adrenals to astral. And so when
all
they're
the glands.
down, exactly, all the glands. So when those glands are down, our other bodies are down.
Yeah.
The mind, the ego can be down, either poor love of self.
So this is why we see all these emotional releases when we go after the physical body in detoxification.
Absolutely.
And a lot of people don't realize the depth of, like you said, you have to shred, you have to rip. You use the word rip. People might not know exactly what you mean about that. That you have to strip yourself from everything that you thought was true.
Well, think about this in this way. You know, everything in creation kind of mimics truth. So think about this. There's a certain process of growth. You got education growth, intellectualism growth. So you have different phases of growth, emotional growth and stuff like this. And so there's just this process of growth and understanding of these. But we have to understand that they're only aspects of the whole of the one. And we get caught up in them, which is what you're supposed to, the drama, the dharma. And the drama is for it to, you know, it's just like a director making a fine movie.
Yeah, so why do you think we're here?
God made a movie here, God made a movie here, God made a movie everywhere. So there's movies going on everywhere in creation. But when your time is up or you're at the point where you have to pull back, you're done with playing, then you start feeling yourself. You start being haunted by that alone self within yourself. Who am I deep within myself? And there's only one way to find out. And you have to strip all your bodies away from yourself. You have to pull back from that.
A lot of people talk about that.
They do.
When you start feeling that urge to search for who am I, you're by searching, I think you're already stepping away from being in the drama. Once you can step away, like little by little, even for a few minutes.
Let's say you live a certain place and you drive the same road to downtown every day for 50 years, right? If you're in the now, every time you drive down that road, it's the first time you drove down it.
Yeah. And we do it on autopilot.
Exactly. Yeah. It's only the mind that gives you the memory of, oh, I've been down this way before.
Yeah.
Consciousness is, oh, this is all new.
Yeah.
And when you're in the now, everything is new at every moment. Both sides of the same coin, positive and negative. We label, the mind labels, so we have an experience, we don't like it, it's negative or positive, but in reality things just are as they are, expressing themselves.
But don't you think that the spiritual movement or community is very often focused on the positive, in the sense that you sit and you and you only bring in the love, while kind of not
Absolutely.
realizing.
When you do that, though, you're going to have the negative chase.
That's what I'm saying.
Exactly.
You know, and people are not aware of that, and they might not be ready for that.
There's a lot of things going on here on this planet that most humans are unaware of.
Tell us.
And that are afraid of.
Tell us.
Well, you know, we're visited and been occupied for quite a while by shapeshifters and all types of species. And I mentioned some of them, I won't go there, but they're around. They're all over the place, and I saw a lot of them take off at this election, because you have to understand, Trump represents a certain level of consciousness. You're looking at the physical side of these beings. You're not looking at the trueness of these beings. This is the physical side of it. Look beyond the power they're pulling. And when that defeat came, I saw the particular type of species start leaving the planet by the groves.
Now you're talking about the same thing. Like the parasites leave the body if the cultivating medium is not right. Now you're seeing these entities leave this vibration. And isn't it interesting that people, as they detoxify, get more aware, get more into self-love, they turn off the TV.
What's another
automatically you pull away from what is no longer in your frequency, what is no longer serving your path.
Well, because the levels of depression and anxieties of the Indos and all these problems they have is helping for people to pull away and go, you know what, I'm done with the games. And once you're done with the games, then it's awake time. Who am I? You're the game player. Well, who's the game player? Who's the master game player? Who's the master game creator?
Who's the thinker?
The one.
Yeah.
The one and the one only.
And you're the observer.
You're the observer. So we're all the one, expressing ourselves as individuals.
But what do you think? What do you think makes us so afraid to leave this body? What do you think? Why do you think we're so afraid of so-called death?
Because
we're all. I think people want to heal because of pain, obviously, but ultimately, we're scared shitless from dying, right?
A lot of people are afraid.
You know, I have a grandchild, and she's 5, and she's the cutest thing, and she told me, Grandma, I think I'm allergic to dying. I think I'm allergic to dying.
Oh,
she just got to that age where death was kind of, you know, they get curious. Yeah.
Okay, so I'll give you one. I had a client once, and she had just given birth to a little baby, right? And she had a 5-year-old.
Yeah.
I think I told you the story before. But the little baby was in the nursery and all that, and the mother was doing dishes at the time, and the little 5-year-old came up and, Mommy, can I talk to the baby by myself? And Mama goes, yeah, honey, sure, go ahead. Yeah, so she opens the nursery, puts her in the nursery, and she sits and listens behind the door. And the little 5-year-old goes up to the baby and says, Baby, can you tell me about God again? I'm about to forget.
Yeah, isn't that a beautiful story?
I'm telling you.
About to
forget.
I
cried when I heard it. Because, you know, this is what we forgot because we're busy playing the game.
Yeah.
When you become awake, you don't want to be here anymore. Now talk to all the out-of-body experiencers and go to anybody that's had an out-of-body experience and ask them if they like this world anymore.
A hard time coming back.
Hard time coming back.
What is your take on the connection then between physical dis-ease and spirituality?
I just find this planet interesting because man has had all this time on this, and he still lives in a dark agey state of consciousness and has avoided the foods and actually tears down the type of foods that's good for you. All the people that talk negative about fruits and stuff like this. Yeah. And it's just that part of that negative force trying to keep those from awakening and getting healthy, you know. But this planet's never seen a state of health. Not really. Go back and take a look at all these. Never seen a state of wellness at this level. And never seen the decay of the human cell at this level. So we have the decay of the human cell genetically, which would be what? Consciousness. Positive negative forces are always kissing each other or bumping each other. They don't, it's just that it's magnetism. It's how you have to have separation so I can see you as separate. If not, we're one.
Yeah.
There's no difference. Consciousness doesn't have separation to it. It's just one, but it's an intense state of aloneness.
Yeah.
And you can't describe it to anybody. You can only experience it. And the way you can experience it is shut down your thinking.
That's all about everything, right?
Shut down creation for a minute.
That's been my biggest thing. That's why I mostly work as an inspirer also. It's because it puzzled me from the very start why so many people would go into criticism and defenseness of their suffering instead of walking the path that was obviously laid in front of them, even though the evidence was there that was going to help. The resistance, the programming, that it's so rooted so deeply.
If you look at our world today, kids are in another reality.
Okay, that's
I can't even go to movies anymore. I love them, but I don't go because I can't stand the negative forces anymore. I've been in battle for so long, and so movies and things like that is another world of fake realities and fake realities. And this world has created so many fake realities. The youngsters don't even know what's real anymore. So awakening is very important. You can play all you want as long as you wake while you're playing. Positive thinking. I want to be positive about everything.
Yeah.
Really? Well, positive is just on the other side of the force. So now you're still dealing in duality, because as soon as you want to be positive, the negative is always going to bite at your heels. Buddha said move to that center path. And most of all the spiritual people did, because that center path is just pure consciousness.
It just is.
It is that which creates creation. So you're pulling back. Of course, we're talking about fruit and stuff like this. All foods have all the same bodies we do. Everything here has the same bodies you can't get at this low chemical level.
But we're always seeking what's good. We're not seeking the center, it seems. We're not seeking what is.
There's a lot of souls here not seeking good.
What feels good. Well, most people, like when they're going after health.
There's a lot of beings.
Tell me.
There's a lot of beings here that are just here.
Yeah.
I've talked to entities that have never been at this physical level yet. This is the doorway to getting well, because you're infusing yourself with higher awareness when you're eating raw foods.
And you can start right there. That's what interests me.
Exactly.
You can start right there. You can't, because you can't separate
It'll change you anyway.
Yeah.
Let's say you don't want to change. You're sitting there.
Yeah.
You're, I'm not going to
I don't
change.
care. Just
I don't care. It will change you anyway.
Yeah. Just eat
because
the
it'll
fruit.
Rip you apart till you just say, I don't care anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But one really easy technique, very easy, is realizing, first of all, this body is not you. It's you're using it like your car you bought out there to drive in. And this is your vehicle you're using. When you leave it, and you leave it at most every night, people just don't realize that, it's just your vehicle. So when you start learning to let go of these things and not make them your primal, energetic focus, attention-wise, you can learn that at night. Lay down in bed and you just totally relax the physical body. Just lay there and just relax it down to nothing. And now picture yourself on the ceiling looking down at yourself. Keep relaxing and just fall into as relaxed as you can, and picture yourself looking down. Pretty soon you'll pop right out and you'll be above yourself looking down. Then you can navigate from there. If your spiritual guide is there waiting for you, then he'll take you on, or she will take you on.
Once you put your attention back to, oh my God, I left my body, you're back. Because then you're right back into your mind. Yeah.
And that's a problem, because some people still need to work on their health, but they have to ground. Their fruit will etherically take you out. So you have to ground. That's where the vegetables come in, because they're ground. We don't digest them well, but still they're more grounding.
They are. But also the physical grounding. I'm all about barefoot walking and the tree hugging. So, take your shoes off, hold on to a tree. You can also use some of the essential oils, like the wood, like the cedar wood. I found that some of the wood,
absolutely,
as long as you hold on to wood, will ground you. But definitely a lot of the vegetables. And I haven't been good with that, because I love my fruit.
Yeah.
I mean, after dry fasting, I went through this Whole Foods store. I always go shopping when I dry fast. I go food shopping because I have so much time. I don't have to worry about food. It's fantastic. So I go do all these things, and you walk through the aisle, and you're looking at grain, vegetable. Even the tender leafy greens, and then you see the fruit, and it's just like,
huge
I'm getting you tomorrow.
Yeah,
the vegetable doesn't even, it's not calling you anymore.
Just like you said, when you eat them, it's like kale. It's like paper.
We're not made to digest that.
We're not
That's
herbivores.
why we need to juice it and blend it. No, we're not.
We're not herbivores at all.
No.
We're frugivores. Watch your thoughts. If you're always thinking, you're never going to be conscious.
And I find that for a lot of people that's hard to grab, because we want to
Hard to
see
grab.
love, and I mean God as the pure love, which is part of all that is. But everything that is a part of all
But
that is.
defining
Right?
God in that way
Yeah.
limits the supreme
It does,
being.
doesn't it?
It limits it to only one side of life. And then who's on the other? Then that wouldn't
Right.
be an omnipresent
So
being.
if that wasn't a part of it, then that
It
couldn't
wouldn't
be a part
infinite.
of all.
It wouldn't be an infinite. Exactly. Because then you have
All
duality.
is all.
All is all. There's no duality in there.
Right, right.
And that's where Christianity and some of the religions don't grasp it yet, because this is just words to them.
Well, I think a lot of religion are made to keep people, entangled in their system. They want to make them feel
Well,
inferior than, the priests
true.
and a lot of the, they can be the
Power
superior,
control.
the power control.
Yeah. So what we're trying to do is get them awake as much to where they don't come back. They can burn off their karma while they're here. They can then leave their physical bodies and enjoy these higher levels.
Okay, so that's interesting, because I see you bring up that a lot.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that you see it as being here, finishing off, getting karma done, and getting done with even being on this planet is something that you want. It's like that a lot. You mean a lot of souls are here to finish off some business and would rather not
Of
come
course.
back.
Of course.
Of course.
Here's
Okay.
the problem.
See, people don't know this.
See, a lot of souls follow each other in families because they keep creating so much karma amongst themselves. And it's like, after a while, you have the bad son that spins off and things. And what's happening is this family unit that's been traveling for eons of time together are being broken apart. Thank you, finally.
When you look at people that goes into this healing state and eat the fruits, what do they see? Friendship dissolve. Family coalitions, like you're talking about, very often something will happen.
You will see who your true friends are and who really loves you, baby. And that's okay, because you don't want people that are pseudo-thinkers around you. You don't want people that are around you and for wrong reasons.
So it's never really a bad thing, and it's not about being sorry, for yourself or for anyone else. But I experienced that in my own life. Most of my friends left.
Yeah,
I was there, not lonely, but I was alone.
Me too.
I was alone. You were too.
Oh,
you were
yeah.
just.
Oh yeah, all my friends left because
All your friends
I was
left.
passionate about these things, and they weren't able to wake up to that level, and I
Yes.
wasn't aware enough then to realize that. You wake up to something more and more, and you just want to share it, so everybody
so you
can
get
wake
eager
up with
and
you.
you get enthusiastic, and then.
Everybody enthusiastic because we're all loving beings with them.
And I think a lot of, especially the new healers or the ones that try to work, start working with people, they realize that they get so enthusiastic and they only want to share the good, and they have seen all of this and experienced this, and then people, they turn away from it, or they get skeptical, or they get even mad.
You get mad.
And that can be hard, but you don't have to worry about that, because the people that is supposed to listen, they will listen, and
we only make bodies so God can experience individuality again. And so you shouldn't get hung up in that, because nothing ever dies. You can't kill anything in creation, as bad as that looks at this level and as gnarly as some of that look. All things are atomic structures here, and consciousness cannot be destroyed. So it's an illusionary world.
So you can't kill
ways.
anything. And even the body, we come from the earth and we go back to the earth.
Right.
We become soil, and
the
everything
body does.
lives. The
No,
body.
the
So
body.
not even that you can actually kill it. Only
can't kill
transforms.
anything.
It just changes
Exactly.
form.
It changes form.
Energy just changes form. You
It
can
just
never,
changes form. Can't kill it, can't eliminate anything, because God is a total entity. There's things can't be created and then totally eliminated, because it all exists within consciousness. You have to understand, at a lower level, we have to get people to understand cause and effect, because they'll never get back to this level if they don't understand that. You'll have a warring planet. They'll be bopping back and forth between positive and negative forces, and that thing keeps on going through lifetime after lifetime after lifetime.
And it goes back to the obstructions. Always about the obstructions, like the physical, the mental, the emotional, the spiritual, always about the obstruction, because when things are flowing, they're flowing.
Right? Your awareness is restricted to your thinking processes. So if you're always thinking about things, your awareness is locked in those thought processes. The mind is here to take your awareness and bring it down into individual thought patterns, so you can create, build, tear down, whatever.
And play in this realm.
Play like a child in whatever.
Yeah.
And that's when you see yourself as God playing in the worlds that it's created for itself to play in. Because without the separation, God is one.
And then fear goes away.
One.
And then fear goes away. That's what I say. Fear goes away. And when you're fearless, you're limitless.
Of course. That's totally it.
I think fear is...
Fear is a lack of understanding of self.
Yeah.
And the more you understand the self, the more you lose the fear, because you become omnipotent, omnipresent, omniscient. That's what Christianity speaks of, but does not understand themselves.
Yeah.
But that's what I'm saying. All you guys are awakening to who you guys are. You're the ones here to bring the power and the awareness and the healing to it. So there's a lot of us out there.
And I think it's time that we call a lot of this bullshit. And I'm bold enough. I wrote a book called that. It's called No More Bullshit.
Yeah. Because you're there. I mean,
we just need to claim who we really are, and we're all sovereign beings. Yeah.
We're individual, but we're one.
Yeah.
And when you get that, then that's when the love comes, because you realize who you really are.
Because as long as we're in this body, this is where we're supposed to be.
Yeah.
I am thinking if we were supposed to be out there, we would be out there.
Yeah.
So there's only so much you want to. Well, you can explore with the outer body, and you can meditate, and you can realize who you are, that you are spirit. But you also have to realize that you're here in this body for a reason. To experience this level. And if you weren't, then you wouldn't be here. So
remember cause and effect.
Yeah.
This is the driving force, and this is what the medical community and all these healing communities don't understand. There's no such thing as diseases and all this bull crap. Everything is cause and effect. You experience what you create, whether it's in the food you're eating, whether it's in the thoughts you're thinking, or the emotions you're experiencing.
And that's hard for many to grasp, because they put blame onto it.
There is a blame on it.
You're telling me I did this to myself? Oh my God, I didn't do it on purpose. I'm like, of course you didn't.
Yeah. You're just in the move of this world, and that's all. But you wake up from that, and that's what we're doing, infusing a little higher awareness. And because generally you don't awaken until suffering comes in. If you're happy doing what you're doing, it's like taking a kid in a room full of toys. They're going to play for a while, and then they're going to go, well,
they're bored.
What's out the door? Let's go out of this room into another room. And that's what creation is. Remember, Jesus said, my Father's mansion has many rooms.
Yeah.
And there's unlimited rooms. Unlimited rooms. This is a positive upswing for America. It doesn't realize it yet. And when you see that, and you'll see why Trump was sent here, and you'll see the power he brings. You're already seeing it. That's what people are scared of, is the power of
what I have seen that is interesting about that is that most of the spiritual people, or people drawn to awakening, they were leaning more towards his side. So
exactly, you do. And you can't care what happens
that's another thing.
You can't care what happens on this rock, because it isn't your place anymore. You were just visiting here. Now, are you done, or you want to play some more? You can play all you want, but try playing awake. It's better.
We're so attached emotionally, aren't we?
Well, that's what
to each other, to events, to our bodies.
And that brings you
we even
unawake.
have vanity. We care what we look like. I want my hair to look good.
Exactly.
All
and that's not awakening.
That is not awakening.
No, that's playing with the. But
can you be awake and then still play? Yeah. You can do that.
You can do that.
Because we're here.
Yeah. So you only comb the hair so people now can see it looks nice and straight. You don't do it for any other reason. Why?
Well, maybe you can do it because you want to love that temple that you have.
Well,
show some respect.
You should always love your temples and stuff like that. You got to realize everybody expects God or someone else to do something for them. The masters, the holy ones.
Yes. That's why we pray, isn't it?
Yeah. And you're praying
God,
to yourself.
Help me.
You're asking yourself for help.
Yeah.
And people don't realize that sounds narcissistic and ego, but what we're talking about is the part of yourself that's infinite, the part of yourself that is undefined, the part of yourself is part of the one. That's the part, not the higher self. No such thing. There's no such thing as the higher self, because if you call, you want to.
Yeah, then what is the other self that's looking at the higher self?
Who are you then?
Who are you then? That's looking at your higher self.
Exactly. You're separating yourself again, and you're lowering the way you look at yourself, and you're thinking you have another part of yourself. The reality is in the now is your consciousness, and there is no higher or lower or up or.
I know, but I'm thinking that God helps the ones that helps themselves. entangles right into what you were saying.
It's
You're talking to yourself. It's the
does-
same thing. You go right back to yourself because you are
does.
part of the whole.
Exactly.
You
It
know?
does send energy through individuals for help.
And a
It
lot of
does.
people, like, I am that I am, and they say, I'm God also, and some turn it to like a narcissistic, you're not God. And I'm saying,
I know.
well, if you have an apple, and you take a little piece of the apple, and you look at it, is it still an apple?
Still an apple.
It's still an
And I
apple.
love how you look at that. That's an
So
excellent
that
way of
makes
looking
you,
at it.
and then people are like, oh yeah, right.
Exactly. Become the power, the knower, the conscious being, and all things will strip away from you and leave. So you just have to power up. You can always ask guides for help and stuff like that, but you want to
I was gonna
power
ask you
yourself
that.
up.
You would think that you could power up yourself.
Exactly. There was one time I loved out-of-body travels. I thought that was the coolest thing there ever was, going
Yeah.
from one place to another place,
Yeah.
another place, and I realized after years of doing this and teaching people how to out-of-body travel, it's like, who's the traveler? Mm-hmm. That's what it's about in the first place. It isn't about traveling or your daily. It's a who's the traveler? Who are you? Which I'm conversing with right now. Mm-hmm. Who's listening to me? Is it your mind or is it you that's really listening? Yeah. Because if you are really listening, this is a good way for you to open up and become conscious.
So we're talking about when you take back your power, you go through the detoxification of the physical body, but you also become more and more aware and you embrace who you are.
And that strengthens your emotions,
yes,
that strengthens your mind,
yeah.
and things like that. Because when you're acidic here,
yeah.
it agitates all these bodies
yes.
as well.
But the interesting thing is, look at depression or anxiety. It's clearly emotional. It feels emotional. Mm-hmm. Yet, we talk about the thyroid, the adrenals. We talk about the glands mm-hmm. that help balance that. Mm-hmm.
There are chakras.
Can you say something about the connection between the emotions and
the
the physical?
Glands. Absolutely. You have to have an energetic connection to all these different bodies because everything, it's hard to explain that everything is festering together. Yeah. It's just hard to explain. Everything is within the one, within the body of the one, which is, it's just, mind can't understand the infinite.
I know. Okay. Namaste.
Namaste.
Bye.
Bye.